Neil deGrasse Tyson is an astrophysicist. He uses math and science to study the universe. He is the person who found out Pluto is not a planet. He graduated from Harvard College and got his PhD from Columbia University.
Neil deGrasse Tyson was born on the 5th of October in Manhattan, and he is 59 years old. He is one of the children of Cyril deGrasse Tyson and Sanchita Maria Tyson. He was a curious boy and was the editor-in-chief of the school's physical science journal. He discovered his love for astrophysics when he was 9 years old.
In 2009, NASA presented him with the Douglas S. Merrill Public Outreach Award. He is also the director of the Hayden Planetarium, which he went to as a kid.
He is dedicated scientist and loves his job. Here is a video where he talks.
How do I become an astrophysicist?
Cool.
That's a good question.
Yeah, very cool. So first you have to love it.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Because if you want to be something that you don't love,
right,
that's a world of hurt right there. And a lot of people growing up want to be things that their parents wanted them to be, and it doesn't really come from within.
Right.
So they want to become a doctor, lawyer, but it's not really driven by their own motivation, and they become adults and they find out that they're not really happy at the end of the day.
Right.
So you gotta love it, and then presumably you're in school, you're going back to school, you got to take a lot of math.
Right.
Because math is the language
of the universe. Yes. So now, wait, let me put an addendum on there personally. How do you develop or discover your love of sciences, particularly physics? Because I think that a lot of kids, myself included, find out very late in life that they love science. I really didn't come into a love of science until I was probably out of college.
Till like last week.
This morning. What time is it? What time is it? But how do you cultivate and develop that?
I was fortunate because my parents, who were both still alive and they're in their 80s, been married 60 years, when my siblings were kids, they took us around, and we grew up in New York City, they took us around to all of the cultural institutions that showed adults doing things that were not your standard professions.
Gotcha.
We went to the zoo and we saw the zookeepers, and we went to the museums and we saw artists and the art museums and the Museum of Natural History, where you see mammalogists and birdologists,
right.
Ornithologists, bugologists. Yeah. And so you get to see just all the things you can be when you grow up. And one of those trips, I was 9 years old, we went to the Hayden Planetarium.
Oh my God.
Yes. And
I did not know this.
And I'm pretty sure the universe called me, that I had no say in the matter, because after that first visit I was hooked. And I didn't...
So much to the point where you now run the Hayden Planetarium.
I do run, those stories play well like in small towns, but in the big city, the fact that I came back and ran the planetarium that started me,
right.
It doesn't play as big in a big city as it would in a small town. But yes, that's exactly what happened. I'm now director of the same place that inspired me to a career of science in the first place.
That's really cool.
So here's the thing about math, just to consider this. If you stumble upon a page in Chinese,
right,
and you say, I don't understand it because it's not the alphabet, nothing on there can you read you grew up knowing English. But you're not saying to yourself, I'm too stupid to learn it. You just say, I haven't spent the time. And if you spend 2 weeks trying to learn it and you still don't know it, are you saying, this is impossible? No, it takes time. It takes years to be fluent in another language.
Right.
I've seen people turned off by math because they didn't instantly get it in a couple of weeks or even a couple of months. That's not right. Give math a chance. All we are saying...
You say Neil deGrasse Tyson, the John Lennon of math.
Give math a chance.
Give math a chance.
And once you are fluent in math, then the universe becomes transparent to you.
Okay.
And then the physics becomes that much more empowering for you to know. Because when you look up at the night sky, you don't say to yourself, I wonder what's up. You say, oh, that's a star, and it's burning this bright, and it's at that distance, and it's turning this fast, it's got these chemicals in it.
Right.
And all of a sudden, the world around you becomes part of your intellectual back.
Astrophysics is a type of astronomy that uses ideas from physics and chemistry.
Neil deGrasse Tyson also has a lot of important beliefs. Here's a video where he talks about how we should be ourselves. He also believes that children should learn by exploring the world.
I've had several people come up to me and said, "What can I do to be you?" And the only aspect of me that's really doable is I can tell you what my academic pedigree is and what I did as a kid and what things interested me. But what I do day to day is not the fulfillment of some pre-existing job description. It's just things that I took interest in on my own that the general public happen to also appreciate or like or want access to. And so within my job description as director of the Hayden Planetarium and as an educator, as an astrophysicist, I kept accreting other things that I did that people responded to, positively responded to. So I can tell you about the academic pedigree. The rest, you have to create what it is that you do best, that layers onto the formal training that may be behind it. I think the greatest of people that have ever been in society, they were never versions of someone else. They were themselves.
He is an important African American leader and role model because he is one of the first African Americans to get a job as a public communicator in science. In this video, he talks about how his work can help to uplift the African American community.
It's all going to be on TV. Tune in. This is my first time on TV. So I'm home eating dinner, okay? And the interview comes on. There it is. So there it is. And at the end, I had an epiphany, a revelation. You ready? Yeah. This is 1989. I had never before in my life, and I believe to this day that that was the first such occasion, ever, but I had never before in my life seen an interview with a black person on television for expertise that had nothing to do with being black. Holding aside, of course, interviews with performers and musicians or athletes, right? I'm talking about experts.
An intellectual.
Intellectual.
Subject.
I had never seen a black person. The guy didn't ask me, well, how do black people feel about this plasma coming from the sun? What does your community feel about this? Will it harm your skin the way it will harm ours? That's not the conversation that unfolded. I was telling him whether Earth would survive.